Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this week's Quick Bites webinar from Just2easy. As you can see on the screen, my name is Paul Wright. I teach computing in 2 primary schools in Kingston upon Hull, and I'm also working part-time as an educational consultant for Just2easy. Also with me during this webinar is Sophie. She is manning the chat line. So if you do have any questions, please direct them towards Sophie, and she will either answer them on the fly or store them up for the Q&A session at the end. So without further ado, let us have a look at today's agenda. And here it is. It will be a 15-minute or thereabouts tutorial, and it will be focusing on personalizing the J2E experience, specifically J2 launch, and how we can change how it looks for different groups of users, and how you as a teacher can use it to signpost pupils to resources, both external and within Just2easy. So here we have a look. Here's a screenshot of, pardon me, what I would call the mature J2 launch page. This is a part of mine. I've had it for 4 or 5 years now, so it's grown like Topsy. And what we'll have a look at is how we can manage that. So without further ado, we'll dive in to my J2E page. And you see, I have quite lots of tiles. Please don't be alarmed. You will not have this many for a while. But sometimes, it was particularly on a tablet, it was very easy for staff and pupils to move these tiles around. But what they have done now, J2, you put a padlock on, so they are locked. So if you wish to rearrange the order, you just need to unclick the padlock and then move these around to wherever you like. I generally put them in the order that I think I'm going to use them most often. So we can just slide them around. And when you're happy with the order, you can just click on the padlock. And they will then be locked in place, and you won't be able to move them until you unlock the padlock again. So first one done, nice and simple. So let's move on now to changing the way that the desktop looks. I've on a different browser here. I've logged in. I'll just refresh the page. I've logged in as a young child. This is Daisy. She is in FS1. And you'll see here that some of the tabs are not appropriate for her. So I'm thinking perhaps she doesn't need to be sending messages, or you might not want them to look at any homework tasks. So we can do that over here. So if I come back to my J2 launch page, and if I come down to the dashboard, you can see, I click on here, I come across to the J2 launch tab over here. And I can manage all of these tiles. Okay, so you might find that J2 Office, for example, is a standard tile that will be on all pupils and all members of staff desktop. So if I just click on that one and manage the tile, you can see here that it's only been allocated to year 3 and above. So, you know, if you go and check on, if I just click on these to put them back onto foundation stage and go back into Daisy's desktop, if I do a quick refresh, you'll see that Office has reappeared. Okay, there it is. Well, obviously I don't want that there, so I'm now going to remove it again. And again, I'll just go back and refresh the page. And there, Office has gone. And that you can repeat that process for other tiles. So I don't really think foundation stage want J2 message. So I'm just going to click on J2 message. You can see it currently it's allocated to everybody, so I'm just going to remove it from the foundation stage desktops, and again back onto Daisy's page. Do a quick control and refresh, and it's gone. So I can repeat that process and remove any of those tiles. This Halloween challenge and the music one here, the Google Classroom, are specific to school. We have pinned those on temporarily, all right? So they are fine. You don't manage those from this page here. This is just for the standard issue J2E tiles. And then if I click on this button here and click on a class, you can see that Office, J2 Review, J2 PDF are not visible to 1B, because another class. These have been removed from year 2. So it gives you a quick overview of what tiles a pupil can see. It means you don't have to log on as those. Okay, so that is adding tiles from the standard J2E tile set. So I don't need this window anymore. I'm just going to click on that. Pardon me, seasonal cough. So what we'll have a look at now is how we can create a tile that will link to any resource that's got a web address. It could be another website, or it could be an internal resource that you as a teacher have created in J2E. So it's very easy. I'm just going to click up here on the plus sign, and I get this one. Now for this, we're going to do a tile. I'll come to folders in a minute. So obviously what I need is a website to go to. So I'll just quickly go to CBeebies. So what I need is the web address. So I'm just going to copy that. And I'm going to put CBeebies in there. I'm just going to paste the URL into there. And you can see now that J2E does a really good job of picking up the relevant thumbnail icon there. If it doesn't, I'll show you how you can add your own in. And here you can take that out and you can write what you like in there. I would always use a tag in case you ever delete it and need to find it again. And for the info, some websites that require a username and a password, I tend to put that in there. And then obviously it's a 4 to 11. And if you are color coding your tiles, and as soon as I add that in, that's now going to my desktop. But what I need to do now is I need to allocate that out to the children. So I can click on this share button, and this share button is consistent across all aspects of J2E. So once you've used it once, you'll become very familiar with it. So I'm going to click on this. Now I can share it with individuals. I could just share it with a user, but I generally use classes. So I'm just going to put it back into FS1 AM, which is where Daisy is for now. Then I come back to Daisy's account. I'll just refresh again. There is the CBs. I can just check that it works. There we go. Off to the CBeebies. All right, so it's very quick to do that. So I can create a link to an external resource really quite quickly. And it's the same if I wanted to create a resource that I've created within J2E. So here, this is a file that I started at the end of year book. So this is what it'll look like. And the idea there was that the year 1 and year 2 pupils would use JITMix to create their yearbook. So that was the file I gave them, and they would then go in and add pages later on. And I created that in pretty much the same way. I just had the file in my files, and I copied the web address. So any file will do. So I probably won't be able to find it at the moment. So all you need to do is to click on the I, click on share, and copy the web address. So you need to copy that web address. And then I just go back to the tile. Here it was. And paste it in there. Okay. Now at the moment, I've not shared it out because obviously we're not at the end of the year, but I could easily click here and go through that sharing process and share that out to probably the year 1 and year 2 classes later on. So that's how to create a tile from an internal resource that you've created in J2E. Now, when we created that, there was the option here of clicking on a folder. Okay, and this is what you would do. You click on a folder, give it a title. PE Science and Resources. Again, fill this in if you wish. Now, because it doesn't go off and find a thumbnail, because it hasn't got one, all you need to do is to click on the eye and then drop a picture. And I happen to have one that I just got from Google Images. I just drop that picture into there. And there is my site. And once I'm in that folder, I can then start to add other things. So rather than do that on the fly, I will just give you a taster of a couple that I've done. So here I have some science resources. Okay, links to various things. What else we got? Here is Computer Club. Lost it for the time being, so we'll go back into CAD. So I'm going to click into my CAD folder, and here I have a link straight to 3D / website. Another link there, but in here I've made a folder, and in that folder I've gathered together some Tinkercad resources. So let's go back to J2 Launch. Okay, so so it's history, same principle. Just put some links in there, and then this can be shared out. It's worth pointing out that when they get a little bit older, children also have the facility to create tiles, and certainly some of our Key Stage 2 children use this as their virtual desktop, and they create tiles to their own resources and favorite websites. Pardon me. So there we are. So I have some here which are acting as folders. There's Computer Club, I found it. So straight link out to the Google Chrome music site. Whereas here in CoSpaces, which is an online VR authoring package, then I have links to various videos and examples of work. So, so you can collect your resources and have them there accessible for the pupils to use as and when they wish. Okay, so this webinar will be visible on the J2E webpage. It will be at this website. Let me just flip through the page. So it will be here. Should you wish to watch it again or point colleagues at it, here we are. Here's a list of all the quick bites that have taken place so far, and here are some that are taking place between now and Christmas. So all that remains for me to do is to thank you for your attendance this evening, and I hope you have a good rest of the evening.